Namaste everyone. Thank you for joining me today. It's great if you can turn on your videos, that really helps me. But if you can't, that's okay. Take a minute to see all these women on the screen and let them know by nodding your head that they are valued, they are important, they are loved for just who they are, and we all have a greater purpose on earth. And one of the paths is to overcome our own issues, our own heightened emotions, to learn from them. And when we start finding peace and calm within, our purpose starts showing up for us. So I congratulate all of you for taking this step today to learn more about anger. And I want you to know that you are not alone. This is the workshop I have actually spent the least amount of time really promoting it. And I had so many women sign up. Most of us are struggling with this. Okay. So do I have permission to share a personal story with you all? Yeah. Thank you. I have had a long journey with anger myself. And today I have two children, basically. Let me tell you that first. I have two children. I've been married for 18 years. And I have a middle schooler and an elementary school student. And today my kids, they are not scared of me. They tell me the truth. And I can see they are confident. And they are able to share personal details with me openly. But this was not the case earlier. And I remember I used to get so triggered and so angry that it's like I had this energy and I had to release it by throwing something. That was how I had to release it. So I used to get so triggered. And I remember once when my son, he refused to turn off his iPad. And if you're a mother, you would relate to this. But this is true for all women. You don't really have to be a mother to understand how angry we can get. But kids can push your buttons, and he did not switch off the iPad after several warnings. And I remember walking to his room and thinking in my head, I'm not doing a good job as a mother. I'm not a good mom. Look how much screen my child is watching. And this is so wrong. And I kept walking, having this voice in my head criticize me. And when I reached his room, I just picked up his iPad and I flung it on the bed. I was very careful. I flung it on the bed, but unfortunately, it bounced off the bed and it fell on the floor. It stopped working. And then there were all, then he was crying, I was crying, my daughter came, she was crying. It was a crying party. And that's when I thought, what am I doing? What am I really doing? I cannot do this for my for my, closest people. And I could see that this really affects our relationships. And just put a yes in the chat if you have experienced something like that in your own life. So I was like, this needs to stop. And next day, as always, my son fell sick. And I saw that as a pattern. And I would usually lose my voice. So I started doing a lot of work. I went to healers, Ayurveda, yoga, Theta healing, doing a lot of inner work to understand what's going on. Why am I so angry? I was a marketing professional. I have left that and now I moved into holistic science because I'm like, I really want to fix my relationships and understand what's going on. And today in this webinar, I'm going to share a lot of my learnings. And I'm really hoping that you get some gems which you can use in your own life. I want to tell you, if I can do it, if I can reach this stage of being calm and being able to respond to my children, respond to my husband, I tell you, it takes really a lot for me to lose my temper now. If I can reach this stage, so can you. Okay? So put in the chat, what do you think anger costs us? I would like to see. And I love that you're interacting with me on chat. I want this to be a conversation. What is anger costing you? Health, connection, hurting loved ones, peace of mind, absolutely. Inner peace, yeah, now it's going very fast. Smoothly walk through life, yeah. Health, peace of mind, high BP, stress, loss of relationship, absolutely. And we can't stay grounded. Yeah. So now I would like to go to my slides. Thanks for sharing anyway. It's a way of, in the way of thriving. Totally, totally. So let me share my slides. Okay, give me 1 minute, please. My music was ready. I need to set up my slide. So I want to share with you the number one thing we can do to ourselves is be kind. Like when I'm setting up my slide, there's a small voice telling me, why didn't I keep my slides ready? Why am I wasting people's time, right? I should have been better prepared. I have this noise, this voice, it's starting to come in. But now because I'm more aware and I know it will cause anger in me, I'm just saying it's okay. It's okay. I'm doing the best I can. It is okay. 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 Okay, so today my goals are understanding root of our anger, learning what is its impact. We will all experience a simple practice to release pent-up anger. And I want to keep time for Q&A. And also, if anyone is interested, I will share how you could work with me. So there is enough research on this, and a study by Gallup World Poll in 100 countries shows that women are actually getting angrier, that more women are getting angrier than men, especially after the pandemic. And there was another study I read which said that women don't express their anger as much as men, which is even more dangerous. Anger and resentment can cause not only heart issues, stomach issues, liver problems, BP, GI tract issues, circulatory issues, skin disorders, and even rheumatoid arthritis. And I want to share that I know someone who had a rheumatoid arthritis very early in her life, very early. And she was really struggling with it. And finally, she actually divorced her husband because he had been cheating on her several times. And after the divorce, I spoke to her about a year later. She said she did not have any instance of rheumatoid arthritis come back. It was gone. So that doesn't mean we leave a people, but it just shows us how our relationships affect our health. So as per Viana Steibel, when we store resentments, regrets, or rejections, they affect our liver, lungs, and kidney. She is the founder of Theta Healing. So what's really going on? Why are we getting so angry? And today I'm going to really share some of my learnings here. So to make it simple, I have bifurcated the causes into three: body, mind, and soul. And anger can be triggered due to several reasons, of course. And let's go ahead. Okay, so at the level of the body, Hot weather. If you Google, you will find that there are more cases of road rage during summer than in winter. So hot weather tends to get us hot and angry. Then hunger. So I had a client, she was struggling in her relationship with her elder daughter, and she used to get really mad at her. And when she came to me, I found out that she was actually a fire dominant person. So if you don't know about Ayurveda, Ayurveda sees people in terms of the 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth. And there'll be some elements which are dominant in you, which determine how you look, how you behave, how hungry you feel, all these things. So this lady was dominant in the fire element, and she was wanting to lose weight. So she was on this very strict diet. She had cut out all the carbs. She was doing something like intermittent fasting. And because she was so hungry and unable to eat the food she wanted to eat, she was getting hangry. And that happens to a lot of us without realizing. So that's the second one. Third one is rajasic food. So rajas again is food which creates this. So there are basically 3 types of food: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. I don't want to go too deep into it, but rajasic food is something like onions, garlic, having a lot of green, red chilies. So, or going to a restaurant and having all this fried food, oily food. This kind of food, it increases the quality of anger, ambition, very strong qualities. Like sattvic food is where it increases the quality of peace and calm, whereas rajasic food increases these active qualities in us. So I have noticed personally that when I'm on a holiday and I'm eating restaurant food every day, towards the end of the holiday, I will start getting angry and I will end up having conflict with some loved one. Let's move to the next one then. So tiredness. This you might have experienced when we are tired, overworked, and let me combine the sleep, and we've not slept to rejuvenate ourselves, because sleeping is not just 8 hours. Sleeping is deep rejuvenative sleep, where so many times you might just sleep 8 or 10 hours and still wake up feeling tired. So when this happens, our body goes into fight or flight mode instead of rest and digest, and we become extremely reactive to people. If you want, you can take a screenshot and then I'll move on to the next slide. I will not be sharing the PowerPoint. I just saw the question, Noshin. I will share the recording though. Okay. So you can take a screenshot. And next is the mind level triggers. So here, the first is the strong inner critic. Just like I shared with you, we have high expectations of ourselves, and then we have this voice telling us what we did wrong. The second one is old childhood trauma, and this is comes up very often in my clients. It's like, suppose in childhood, something happened, like suppose your voice was not heard or your opinion did not matter, and you felt really bad about it. You will try to create situations through your life where you create the same situation where you're trying to give your opinion, but you're seeking for a different result of that situation. But you, again and again, you keep getting rejected. Again and again, your opinion doesn't matter. So it's your old childhood trauma which is on loop. And So today, for something very small, you will get triggered and you'll react very violently, or it will be too much out of proportion to what the incident was. So that's the second one. Third one is stifling your voice when you don't speak up. You have a different opinion, but you want to keep the peace, so you keep quiet, you bottle up what you want, and after a certain point of time, you burst like a volcano. And then you're filled with guilt. And that's the worst part. I found that always you burst as a volcano, because that was my story, and then you're filled up with so much guilt, it makes you feel so heavy. And fourth is lack of boundaries. You're a people pleaser. You keep giving without taking any time for yourself. You don't understand your own limits, and you overschedule yourself. So that's that. And then attachment to outcomes. This is when we have planned something, we have a whole plan, and we are very attached to the whole plan going through smoothly and we getting what we want. And when that doesn't happen, it can cause a lot of frustration and anger. So before I go to soul level, is there any question? Just raise your electronic hand if you have a question. Otherwise, I'll just move on. Okay, I think we are good. Everyone seems to be good. Let's continue. So soul level. Now this goes really deep. And this is in my learnings with Theta healing, because I'm a practitioner, as well as Mother Maya, who's a former Vedic monk. So I have worked with women from different countries, and I find some commonalities. And that is, we are carrying our ancestors on our back. Okay. Let me share with you in gallery view. I'm going to go back to my story. Okay. So I'm sure you remember how I was mad at my son. Now what I really want to go deeper into this and say, I found I had a pattern. I was more angry with my son than with my daughter. I was more angry with my father than with my mother. I have also been angry with my husband. And as I went deeper into it, I understood I was carrying a belief in my subconscious, which was, I am a victim of men. Now, this belief is not mine, because I didn't have a childhood to believe that I'm a victim of men. I have very good parents. They've been very kind to me. But this belief has come to me from my ancestors. I'm from India. And when patriarchy came into power, this is a millennia ago, and this is not just true for India, I've seen it in women from different countries. When patriarchy came into power, women were subjugated, they were abused, right? So women started keeping this trauma in their womb. They carried the trauma. And then they transferred it from womb to womb as they gave birth. They transferred to future generations. And they have a belief, they formed a belief that we are victims of men. And that belief is what we get through them. Now, this is what I got. I had a client, and she was Jewish. And her great-grandmother fled from Germany in a boat to come to US. And she was in a room where there were bales of cotton, and she was hiding in that. And there were soldiers who came looking, and they were poking the bales of cotton. She survived and she made it, of course. But she had this fear that she is not safe. And today, when that client came to me, all this life, so remember, whatever belief we have in our subconscious, we create that outside us. Because our subconscious creates 80% of our life. Consciously, we only manage 20%. So the subconscious created situations where she was again and again put in areas of danger because she believed she was not safe. So there are two things that happen because of patriarchy. One, we carry this victim belief. I cannot tell you how many clients who come to me carry this very strong belief that they are victims of men, or we are victims. That's it. And their whole life, they are feeling sad, angry, and victimized because that's what is being created. Okay. The other thing is, because of this trauma that women carry in their wombs, there is a disconnection between mother and child. So there are other women who are not able to connect with their children. And then the children are carrying a mom's wound, a mother's wound. And they are feeling so like a victim because they couldn't get the love they wanted or they seek. So these are all patterns that came out of patriarchy. But we cannot be angry with patriarchy because anger is this hot stone that we pick up to throw at people, and it burns our hand first. So we need to just release, relax, and see what to do next. I'm going to now go back to my slides. So this is one belief. And then Dr. Vasant Lat, he's a very famous Ayurvedic Vaidya. He says we carry not only childhood trauma, but also trauma from our ancestors. And we create our inner world and project it on our outer world. Where did these beliefs come from? From our ancestors, because we still carry energetic imprints of their traumas. So think back to the time of your ancestors and the women who came before you, and just take 1 minute to reflect on what were their struggles. Okay, moving on. So I've shared all this, and this affects relationship with their own children. And then it becomes a vicious cycle. Okay? And remember that if we carry trauma in our wombs, it not only goes to our daughters, but also sons. So it's important to work on our beliefs so we can stop the cycle. Okay. The good news. Now, after all this sharing, let me share some good news also. As per Mother Maya Tiwari, the Shakti is once again awakening on earth in its purest form and undiluted form. This energy is more than, one second, I need to get something out of the way. Yeah. This energy is more than the power to procreate or give birth to children. It endows us with the immutable force to nourish nature and heal the good earth. Nourish, nurture, and heal the good earth and all of nature by continually invoking creativity, wisdom, arts, love, and light. And when we begin to walk as the goddess emissaries that we are, we become co-creators with Mother Nature. So women, we have a special gift, which is that we can create life inside us. We have a power that to help Mother Nature also come back to balance. And it starts with us coming back into balance first. So we are going to now experience the meditation. For this, I would like you to think of one person you are angry with. Okay? You might have a list. Choose one. I had a list, but I must say I don't have any list now. I don't have anyone on that list. And I'm very grateful to the universe for that. Okay. So let me stop sharing and everyone sit comfortably. Okay. I'm hoping that by now you know who that person is. Close your eyes. Sit with your back straight. You can have your hands in your lap. Keep your neck straight. Just bring your attention to your breath. Notice how it feels cool when you inhale and warm when you exhale. Now ask yourself, am I safe? Now take a deep breath and notice the smell of air. Now think of this person and notice any shifts in your body. Where do you feel the emotions? Notice where you feel the emotion in your body and give it a color. Now, every grudge that we hold against people is serving us in some way. Ask yourself, how is holding this anger against this person benefiting you? Trust the first thing that comes to you. Now ask yourself, am I safe? Now ask, am I ready to release this grudge and anger against this person? If the answer is yes, you see the color draining out of your feet into Mother Earth and becoming dirt. Make sure you visualize the whole process. Once you've drained out all the color, you imagine unconditional love coming to you from Mother Earth and see that unconditional love fill up all the spaces in you that were occupied by that anger. Now thank yourself for doing this practice. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay. Welcome everyone, welcome back. Would anyone like to share how was the practice for you?
I can share.
Yes, Miranda.
When we first were going to do the meditation, I had somebody else in mind But then while we started the meditation, like these feelings came up for somebody else. And I was like, oh, I'm like, and then you said, okay, what are you feeling? I was like, oh, I'm feeling this for this person. So I better work on this because I was surprised that it came up. And yeah, so I just focused on that and let the other person go because in this moment I had more anger for the individual. Yeah, and so once I visualized the color, and that also surprised me that it was purple because usually I associate purple well with spirituality and softness. I don't relate it to any anger. And then ironically, I relate red to anger, but that's what came up, and I saw it more as love. So there was many things that kind of surprised me along the way, but it felt good. Everything kind of dissipated. All that anger dissipated. So that was lovely. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Miranda. So interesting that we think something and then something else comes up. And then it's full of surprises. When we do inner work, it really surprises you. Like, oh, I didn't even know I had this. And I didn't even know I was carrying this. So thanks for sharing. Anyone else? And even if it didn't work for you, you could share that.
Speaking. And so
Sorry, I can't hear you.
me now.
Oh, your voice is breaking. Who is speaking? Sorry, I couldn't understand.
Lakshmi, can you hear me now?
Lakshmi, your voice is cracking a little bit. Try again. Can you say again? Something?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, your voice comes in and out a little bit. We can
see.
try. Keep talking.
If
Let's
somebody
try.
else wants to go ahead, then let them go ahead.
Okay.
So somebody else wants to try, do you think, or should I go on? How's my
Go
voice?
ahead. Now we can hear you. And after you, Lakshmi, we can hear Bonnie.
Yeah, so I've been very angry the past few days. And today, when I thought of that person who made me so angry, and I gave a color, I gave a bright red color to that anger. But then when you said release that anger, I realized, no, I'm not ready to release it yet. I really want to hurt this person, right? And that was the aha moment where I've been so upset, crying, and, affecting my own health. But the power was within me where I was not ready to release it yet. And I think that was the biggest learning I had from this meditation. Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Lakshmi. Are you okay if I ask you another question? It might be personal, and it's up to you if you want to share.
Sure, go ahead.
So when we hold on to anger, it's because it is serving us. You're not ready to release it because holding on to that grudge and that anger is serving you some benefit.
I don't know.
Either it keeps us safe. If you are angry with someone, it keeps you safe because now you will say, I don't need to talk to that person. That person will hurt me again, right? It's better to keep that anger in me and justify not talking and cutting off from that person than to release the anger and then having to be vulnerable again to hurt. So that's one reason. So even if you don't know the answer right now, it's okay. But it's worth exploring within you that what are you getting out of holding that anger? Okay?
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take Bonnie's share.
So I also was like, I can't give up this grudge because it keeps me safe. So it's exactly what you were saying. In my head, I'm like, oh, I won't be safe if I let this go, and my children won't be safe. Worse than me. And so, but then when you started to do the, I can't think of the word, but you explained how we were going to let it go and down, and off it went. Off went all that anger. It went down into the earth, and Mother Nature, wrapped her arms around me and helped me feel safe. And I can't trust this woman, but I don't have to be angry with her.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure a lot of us wanted to hear that. Thank you. Okay, we'll take one more share with Malini. Yeah. Malini, what would you like to say? Malini, are you talking? Because I cannot hear you. Yeah. No, I cannot hear you. Sorry. If you want, you can try logging in with your phone as well. And we can take your share in a while because we can't hear you. Or if you don't mind, you can put it in chat. It's up to you. Whatever works. Okay, but thank you so much for at least trying to share. Okay, do we have any questions? I will take a few questions and then I will share if anyone wants to work with me, what you can do. Yeah, till then I see Nikita says same. I might think about releasing, but it might come back. Yeah, it can come back. That is if you want it to come back. And if it's serving you in some way, you will bring it back. But the important thing is, just like Bonnie said, when we keep a grudge close to us, it is keeping us safe, right? When we release the grudge, if we can feel safe even without the grudge, maybe you connect with Mother Nature, maybe you pray to a goddess or a god, whatever you can do to keep feeling safe, and you do that, then you don't feel the need to bring that grudge back. Okay? So I have a question here by Britt. What are other reasons we hold on to anger besides keeping us safe? Okay, thank you for asking. I'll share what I have noticed. If you have a relative and they live close to you and you don't want to keep meeting them, you don't enjoy their company, you can hold a grudge against them to justify that you don't need to meet them. Because they did this to you, you are a victim of them and you don't need to meet them. And if they are sick and you can justify to yourself that they are sick, they need help, but they did this to me, I am the victim here and I don't need to help them. So that can be one thing. The other thing could be we are more comfortable being small and than being showing up fully for the world. There's more comfort in feeling like a victim and feeling small. Oh, I could have done so many things in my life, but how could I do? Because this is what happened to me. And this is how people wronged me. How can I really do these things? And it helps us stay in our comfort zone. So these are some of the reasons I can remember. Best person is yourself. When you keep asking yourself, the answer comes. So how to elevate anger in the moment? Exactly. Thank you, Nosheen, for asking this question. Very, very, very helpful question. So I have experienced this because when we are really angry, no amount of parenting classes will help you, no amount of breath work, everything goes out of the window. Yeah. So this is a very simple technique, and that is just say, I am angry. When you are starting to get angry, just saying it, I am angry, you will see it reduces the charge of that anger. The charge goes away. You will not reach the stage like me where you have to throw things. That can be costly. So just say it. I am angry. Okay? Elite says, I can relate to that. Purpose for anger that came up for me was sharing the blame of the situation. Yeah, thank you. So you mean that the blame was too much to take on yourself? Hilit, do you want to just share a little about that?
Yeah, I think that was part of it. It was too hard for me to take the full blame and kind of deal with the consequences, that it's easier to share it and maybe reflect some of it on another person.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing. It feels very heavy. All these emotions feel heavy. I used to wake up from the bed feeling like there's a huge cloud over my head. Okay, great. So Malini, is your speaker working? Can you try once again? Otherwise, then we'll move on. Yeah, say something. Yeah, your voice is very fumble. You know, it's like, yeah, it's not very clear. Just say one sentence. Yeah, there's an echo. Just try speaking. Just say something.
Yes.
I'm sorry, it's not very clear. How about you put it in the chat?
I've already put it.
You put it in the chat? Okay, let me see. Okay, Malini is not ready to release the grudge. Yes, Malini, it needs work. It's fine. You're okay where you are. No worries. Just having an awareness of the grudge and where you're holding it in your body, that's like the first step, and then you will move ahead. Just showing up for yourself today is huge. Okay. So let me go back to the slides. We did the color me out technique. That's the name I've given this meditation. Okay, so working with me. I'm based in Santa Clara and I work online as well as in person. I offer individual one-on-one work because all of my clients are different. They have different beliefs. They have a different past. They're very unique. So either I do one-on-one work with them, or sometimes in the year I offer group programs which combine group work and one-on-one work. Okay? My goal is I really want to help women move from this woman on the left to the woman on the right. And we all need support. And I see myself as someone who can hold space for women to have their own breakthroughs. So what happens when we women seek support? We start releasing old hurts. We start feeling lighter and more joyful. I have a client who was carrying this huge belief that she's a victim. And she actually got it from her father. And she had this huge breakthrough where she understood why she was so angry with the world and why her father was so angry with the world. And she, at that moment, chose to forgive herself and forgive her father. And the next day, she sent me a text. She said, I've never felt so happy before. So the power is really in us. If we are having a life right now which is not what we want, somewhere we are creating it. We own our power. We understand that our state of well-being improves, relationships improve. If you have children, they really get surprised. And then we start radiating a beauty. Because we are stepping into our power, we are goddesses. We all are goddesses. I want you to say to yourself, I am a goddess. And you start feeling that power. And both our ancestors and future generations will benefit when we work on these subconscious beliefs, because it's all energetic. One of my clients, her husband actually wrote this. He was very happy with the work his wife was doing. So he said, She's noticing she's becoming calmer and kinder, especially in her interactions with their daughter. This lady had cut off all her connections with family members. She had stopped seeing her parents and also relatives. And she stopped going back to India. She lives in the US now. And she just so angry and so sad. And now if you see that lady, you actually cannot recognize her. So I always ask this question to people. You need to make a choice. Do you want to survive or thrive? And when you decide, the universe will help you. You might not work with me, but just you make a choice to thrive, and all the people and resources that can help you thrive are going to show up for you. Just keep your eyes open. Okay? So if you want to work with me, I offer 15-minute complimentary clarity calls. Then there's no obligation, absolutely. But in these calls, we explore what are you struggling with and if there is any way I could help you. Okay? I think, yeah, if you can put in the chat your biggest takeaway from today, it would be great. Malini says, okay, I could identify quickly where I have anger. Yeah, it's serving you somehow. That's right. Lakshmi says, I'm suffering because not ready to let go of my crush. Reason we store our anger. Like the release of anger, absolutely. How to feel safe without anger. Yes, yes, so powerful. Reasons why we get angry. Appreciating meditation and this reflection this morning, absolutely. Thank you for sharing.